Over 35% of seniors show early signs of dementia in how they walk, long before they forget a single name. It's not about getting slower with age. It's not about limping after an injury. Sometimes, the first warning sign is their walking style, and most people don't notice it. What if their walk is already signaling a problem, and you haven't even realized? In this video, you'll learn 7 unusual walking patterns that may indicate brain changes well before memory loss begins. Spotting them early could help you act sooner and protect your loved ones. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Don't miss out on vital health tips that can help you protect the ones you love. Stay connected for more essential insights. Number 1. Unsteady turns or trouble pivoting. 3 years before his Alzheimer's diagnosis, 74-year-old Stephen started turning oddly when he walked. If someone called his name, he'd stop, hesitate, then take a wide, awkward curve just to face them. His wife thought he was dizzy or overreacting, but it kept happening. At home, in parking lots, even moving around the kitchen, he struggled with quick turns. Once, he bumped into a wall trying to leave the bathroom. That made his daughter start keeping notes. Experts confirm that difficulty turning while walking, especially taking wide, over-elastic, tight, off-balance steps, can be an early sign of cognitive decline. It often points to subtle damage in brain regions responsible for coordination, spatial planning, and balance, areas that begin to falter before memory loss is noticeable. For seniors, this kind of hesitation or awkward turning may seem small, but it can actually be one of the brain's earliest warning signals that something is misfiring beneath the surface. Are you finding these clinical signs useful? Type 1, if these insights help, or 0 if you want other topics covered. Your input guides what I explain next. Number 2, lost in motion, freezing. 5 years before her dementia diagnosis, 76-year-old Frances began stopping mid-walk, for no clear reason. She'd be heading to the bathroom or walking across the living room, and suddenly, she'd freeze, like her body forgot what to do next. Sometimes she'd stand there for 10, even 20 seconds, then start walking again like nothing happened. At first, her family thought she was just distracted, but one day, she froze in the middle of a crosswalk, and that's when her son realized something was wrong. Studies show sudden, unexplained pauses while walking, with no obstacle in the way, can be an early indicator of executive dysfunction in the brain. This freezing gait reflects disruption in how the brain plans and coordinates movement, and it's often tied to early stages of Parkinson's-related or frontotemporal dementia. In these conditions, motor control and spatial planning break down, long before memory issues become clear. For seniors, it's not just confusing, it's a major fall risk, and one of the most overlooked early red flags. Number 3, uneven arm swing. It wasn't until his annual checkup that 72-year-old Richard's doctor noticed it. His right arm barely moved when he walked. At home, no one had really noticed. His wife assumed he was just stiff, tired, or favoring an old injury. But one weekend, watching a family video from years earlier, she saw it. He used to swing both arms naturally. Now, the difference was clear and unsettling. 2 years later, after more strange behaviors like repeated questions and misplaced items, Richard was diagnosed with early-stage dementia. Reports show that reduced or uneven arm swing, especially if only one side is affected, can signal early neurological decline. This subtle change is often linked to degeneration in the motor cortex or basal ganglia, both of which play a crucial role in coordinated movement and balance. For older adults, it's an easy-to-miss clue that the brain's control over the body is quietly slipping, and often goes unnoticed until other cognitive symptoms begin to appear. Over 60% of dementia cases are caught too late, after the brain has already suffered major damage. But experts say that in many cases, dementia progression can be slowed or even avoided if early signs are caught in time. That's why these small walk changes matter more than most people realize. 4 years before her diagnosis, 75-year-old Beverly started walking differently, like her feet barely lifted off the ground. Every step was short and stiff, and she made a soft, dragging sound on the tile. Her daughter joked she needed new shoes, but even in sneakers, it continued. One day, at the grocery store, Beverly nearly tripped trying to step over a small floor mat. That was the turning point that made her family push for a neurological exam. Research confirms that short, shuffling steps often serve as an early warning sign. This walking style, sometimes called a Parkinsonian gait, is common in both Parkinson's disease and certain types of dementia, especially vascular and Lewy body dementia. This kind of gait change reflects a deeper breakdown in the brain's ability to coordinate smooth, automatic movement. It's not just about muscle weakness, it's about how well the brain manages moving the body. And in many cases, it shows up years before any noticeable memory problems start. At first, Anne, 78, thought it was just a sore ankle, but her husband noticed she was dragging her left foot everywhere. It made a soft scuffing noise on the floor. Even after the ankle felt better, the dragging continued. She didn't notice it herself, but the uneven wear on her shoes told a different story. A year later, when she began forgetting appointments and losing words, her doctor gave the diagnosis: vascular dementia. Studies show that dragging one foot, when there is no injury, pain, or clear physical cause, can signal damage to the motor areas of the brain, often affecting just one side. This kind of uneven movement disrupts natural coordination, and it also signals brain decline. It's a red flag for underlying neurological issues, particularly in older adults, and should never be dismissed as just aging or a passing limb problem. 2 years before his dementia diagnosis, 73-year-old Willie began pacing the house at odd hours. Sometimes, at 2 or 3 a.m., he'd walk up and down the hallway, peek outside, then circle back again. When his wife asked what he was doing, he'd shrug and say, "Just checking things." At first, she thought it was stress, but over time, Willie began wandering outside, forgetting why he'd gone out at all. That's when the concern became urgent. Research suggests that purposeless walking or wandering, especially in familiar places, is often an early warning of disorientation. It reflects a breakdown in spatial memory and executive function, where the brain loses its ability to connect movement with clear goals, context, or direction. What once felt automatic, walking to the kitchen, stepping outside for the mail, now becomes disconnected from purpose. Often, this disconnection appears long before memory loss is recognized. 5 years before her diagnosis, 76-year-old Dorothy began walking slower, not just due to age, but with hesitation. She'd approach a doorway and pause. She'd step off a curb like she was unsure it was safe. Even walking down a hallway, she'd sometimes stop mid-stride, as if trying to remember where she was going. Her family thought she was being overly cautious. But when the hesitations grew more frequent and the confusion started showing in conversation, they realized something deeper was happening. Experts confirm that slow walking, combined with frequent hesitation, is one of the strongest physical predictors of early dementia. It's not just about moving legs or getting older, it's about the brain struggling to plan, start, and coordinate each step. This difficulty becomes especially clear in new environments, busy spaces, or when multitasking. What looks like caution or clumsiness is often the brain's early warning that its navigation system is beginning to fail. If someone you love shows you one of these walk changes, don't brush it off. It's easy to blame age, arthritis, or bad shoes, but often the body reveals what the brain is trying to hide. The earlier you catch these signs, the more you can do to support them, and slow the decline before it speeds up. Remember, the body often reveals what the brain tries to hide. Catching these early signs gives you the power to act sooner, supporting those you love and slowing decline. We love hearing from you. What part of this video was most helpful or eye-opening? Share your thoughts, questions, or personal experiences below. Your stories inspire us to keep creating vital health tips. If you found this video helpful, pause and hit subscribe with the notification bell so you never miss another essential health update. And don't forget to share this with your loved ones because caring is the first step to prevention. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.